Hello, welcome to Echoes of Impact with Noura. This is your host, Noura Almasri. Welcome to the show. Today, actually, I want to talk about a very special month for me. If you've been following me, you know that I have tax and accounting firm. That's Noura's books. That's actually very dear to my heart because I serve my clients and I've been talking in my podcast and other places about core values. Core values are very important to your business. It's very important to distinguish between you and other people because let's take me as an example. I am a tax accountant and I do serve clients with taxes, with bookkeeping, with CFO services, and I also do some coaching. But there are a lot of people around there and they do the same thing. But how do I make myself different? How do I deliver my service differently? Simply by actually identifying my mission, and that will be unique, that's different between me and other people, my company and other people. um, Identifying the core value that I make sure I actually take care of when I deliver the service. So, for example, one of my core values is education. So, I like to actually educate the client while I'm serving them, making sure they are informed about what they are entitled to, how can they save in taxes, how can they increase their cash flow, all of these things. So, being actually known as core value, education as a core value in my firm, that's making sure for me and for my staff, the people, my team, that they can deliver the service in the same way I want to carry my organization with. I want to carry that with education, making sure we just make sure our clients are educated so they know what they are getting, they know what they are entitled to. So because if they are not educated, it's going to be hard for us to give them the best value ever. Because why? If they're not informed, they're not going to provide the information, and if we don't really know them deeply, we're not going to be able to get those information, tell them, oh, you have this, like you didn't give it to us. But so this is very important. So this is just an example to see how important it is to identify your core value. How did I do that? I did not have core value the day one when I started my business. I actually determined the core value later on, like maybe a year after I started my business. And that's why I found it like very, very important to do that, because I wanted to make sure my company represents me. And I wanted to make sure everyone in my team carry the business the same way I wanted to carry myself and my business. So it is very important to identify that, to make sure you as a business owner are reminded with that, and your team is reminded with that as well. So if you did not have your core values yet, go ahead and think about it and write it down. It's going to make a significant difference in your company to have those core values. Now, speaking of that, I will be talking today to a branding consultant because branding is very important for your business. People can see the colors and actually know that is you. When I started my business, I had very simple logo that I created on Canva when I started, because I'm not a Canva person. I'm not a design person. That's not my strength. I love it, but I'm not the best at it. But I wanted to start. So, and I did not have the finances like in my business in order to invest and someone to do the logo. So I was like, okay, I was just sitting there like trying to figure out a logo on Canva. And my logo back then was a green circle saying Noura's books. And actually my daughter at that time, she came and helped me a little bit to make it look a little bit better. So everyone actually was knowing me from that circle, even though like that wasn't the best logo. And then when I hired the branding consultant, she actually recommended that I change that logo. So I was first like, I didn't notice that my logo need to be changing because I just didn't notice. I so used to it, and I actually had some colleague telling me, "Well, we used to see this green circle, and we know that it's you." And they were kind of sad that I changed the logo, but once she told me that's not modern and you need to change your logo, I she gave me some example, and actually I started working on the logo. Not myself right now, like usually like my design person is my daughter, like when it comes to something essential like a logo. So she did the logo, like she worked on the logo, like, and we worked on it together. Like I was telling her like what I want, and we were working on the color and everything. So we figured out that a new logo that I liked. So but before I thought like you cannot change the logo, but it turned out it's okay. You can change the logo. It's gonna be fine. We changed the colors for Noura's books in general because when I spoke to the branding consultant, she actually recommended that to have Noura's books represents me more. So branding myself within my business and branding my business to reflect me. So I'm going to actually talk to the same branding consultant. She helped me to do the blueprint for the branding for my business. That was late 2022. And then from that blueprint, we actually figured out the website. So we put the website based on the branding blueprint. We manage our social media the way we were advocate, we were consulted to be, that my branding consultant told me like this is the best way to carry your business in terms of branding. And because this branding is not my strength, I love branding, I love to look professional, but it's not my area. So I listen to professionals. So I did actually do my websites. I changed my colors. I did everything to represent me more. So now, if you go look at my um, website, social media, and everything, you will see me more. It's going to reflect me more. Before, the colors even did not reflect me. It was green, just very pretty standard for the industry. But now we still use green, but we use red more because red is my color and I love red. And other different colors. So this is just like few examples. Like I want to talk about this with my guest. So stay with me so we can ask her some questions, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value from her. We're going to be also talking to a woman, a wonderful woman. She is actually in a men dominated industry that a lot of women maybe like would be hesitant to get into that industry, even though they would want to, they like to be, they enjoy working on that side of work, but they still might be hesitant to get into that main dominated industry. We're gonna talk to her and we'll ask her some questions, see how her colleague, like the men over there, treats her and treat other women colleague over there. And you're gonna hear from her how she is managing all of that. So stay with me today to see and watch and listen to my guests, to see the tons of value my guests are going to actually drop in today. Enjoy the show, stay with me. And I wanted to remind you with something, like you can email me at hello at echoesofimpact.net if you would like to come as a guest in the show, or if you have something you want us to address so you can get more knowledge on it or more perspective from other people on it. Would love to hear from you because we want to deliver a show that you enjoy, you get benefit from. So make sure you email me. Don't let this opportunity um, go away. Just email me and I'll be happy to actually work with the team to make sure we deliver the best show to you. This is Echoes of Impacts with Noura. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is your host, Noura Almasri, and this is Echoes of Impact with Noura. Like I said in the beginning, I have a very special guest for you. This special guest, she is actually working in a man-dominated industry. I can't even remember the name she told me. I think architecture, engineering, and construction industry. That's where she works at. And I want to talk to her about this because I know a lot of you there. Maybe you want to work in the same field, or maybe um, uh, man dominated industry field, but you feel like you don't want to touch there because you're afraid to get into that field because it's man dominated field. So I want you to hear from Nouran and how her experience from there, so you can actually get encouraged to do what you want to do because it's your decision what you want to do. Help me welcome my dear friend Nouran Elzarrad. Nouran, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Nora. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. I want to hear from you, like tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your background.
I'm Nouran. I was born in Syria, raised in United Arab Emirates. I lived in many places before immigrating to the US. Also, I am a mom to three wonderful kids. On the professional side, I hold a bachelor degree in architecture. I have been in the AEC industry, architecture, engineering and construction for the past 10 years. I started as a modeler, advanced to project coordinator in design firms. Eventually, my journey led me to the construction field. Right now, I am a senior VDC engineer in a construction company.
Nice. And tell me a little bit, like, what is the senior, what is it? Engineer?
VDC engineer, virtual design and construction.
Awesome. So what do you actually do?
So big part of my job is to use technology to enhance the project lifecycle, starting from design phase to construction. For example, we set up a 3D model that simulate the building. Then we identify and resolve any issues prior to construction even starts. I find it very interesting. We do a lot of troubleshooting. Every project has its own challenges, which allow us to be creative thinkers. Our field is very collaborative. Engineers, designers, the team in the field, all of us working together to bring the building or the project to life. Also, I find that it's very meaningful job. We work on schools, museums, healthcare projects, all kind of projects, and we see huge impact on the communities we serve.
That's awesome. Do you actually go into the field to work on these projects?
I do. Every now and then, especially at the beginning of the projects. However, thanks to the laser scanning technology, which reduced the need to be in the field. For me, typically at the beginning of the project, I go out, capture any existing condition, and then bring it in the model. So this technology allowed us to bring the site to the office. Of course, it's different scenarios for different roles, like women in the who are working as construction workers in the field. They will have to be present on site.
That's awesome. So how do you feel like you fit in with such an industry, and how is actually your male worker treat other female co-worker in such a male dominated field?
Most of the time, they're nice and supportive. I believe we work well together. Personally, I have been fortunate to work with colleagues who respect the value of my work, regardless the gender. However, like any male-dominated field, we have issues for sure. Sometimes I have to make sure my voice is heard. Also, it's hard to move up. You don't see a lot of women in high leadership level. But with more women entering the field, people start to recognize the importance of diversity and what women can bring to the table. One of the surveys within the industry showed that when we have a diverse team, we have better outcomes, also more innovative solutions. And also, as we all know, women are detail oriented. We follow the project plans precisely. Also, women are great team players. We often the men focus on their personal achievements, but women make sure everyone in the team is doing great. In general, I believe things started to shift, but we still have a long way to go.
That's really interesting. So, what would you tell actually the women who are really interested in the field and would like to come in, but they are afraid? What do you tell them from your experience? What should they expect? Do you encourage them to come in, like you said, because if you have more women enter the field, that's gonna make it easier for other women. But still, there are a lot of women like they might still be afraid, like I'll do it later when more women come in. So, from your experience, what's the advice that you can tell them?
My biggest challenges as women was the long working hours. We have to work late in the weekends, trying to meet the project deadlines. So if you have kids or starting a family, that will dramatically affect your life balance. I have learned some strategies to help me with this. I would say first, know your rights and learn to say no. Set boundaries, and of course, look for a place where you have flexibility and work-life balance. The company culture matters. If you are not, if your current job doesn't align with your needs, don't settle. Find another project, another company, maybe another role. Our industry has a lot of option, so take control of your career path. Also, another advice is if you want to enter this industry, you have to never stop learning. Our industry is always developing, and you have to stay up to date with the latest technologies, latest tools. Otherwise, you will fall behind. And you know, when you know what you're talking about and what you're doing, that's how we earn respect and trust.
That's awesome. So, in other words, like you just have to set your boundaries and just know what you want and just go for it. Don't wait because you are paving the way for other women to for their life to be easier in this job, for their demands to be actually met, to take care of their families, to be able to still advance in their career. So don't just like sell yourself short. Make sure you are everything, whether you are working in the workforce or you have your own business or you want to enter a field that is new and that they don't actually the society is not used to see all women a lot in that field. Pave your way, pave it for other people. If you actually read history, a lot of things were not available for women before, but because of courageous people, is they paved the way for everyone, and you can pave the way for other women. And thank you so much, Nuran, for actually being one of these women who are paving the way for the women and your industry. It's really amazing, and this is really courageous from you, especially with three little kids, and having a family, a lot of responsibilities. You are doing amazing. Thank you so much for taking this role.
Thank you, Nora. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you. How can people connect with you?
My email and elzarrad@gmail.com. Also, you can check my LinkedIn profile under my name.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. We're very glad to have you here today. Um, Thank you for all the insight that you shared. I'm sure a lot of women that are gonna get a lot of value from what you shared with them. This is Echoes of Impact with Noura. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is your host Noura Almasri, and this is Echoes of Impact. Now, as I told you in the beginning, I'm gonna have a great guest for you. The branding consultant, the amazing branding consultant, actually, I worked with in order to brand my own company. So I didn't want to keep the secret. I want you to all take advantage of that and learn from the best. So welcome, my friend Talyn Rahman. Welcome, Talyn. Thank you so much for coming here with me today.
Thank you so much, Nora. I'm so excited to be here and huge congratulations on your show. Like, who would have thought 2 years from now you would have your own TV show? So, this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for being here with me. Um, can you actually tell the audience a little bit about your background, about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, hearing by my accent, I'm not from here. I'm from London, and I moved to the United States in 2019. And back in Europe, I was a diplomat consultant, which was my first company where I actually did personal branding for politicians and diplomats who were very high up the food chain. And my job was to remind them, hey, you're representing people. Don't forget that. Now, let's remind you why you wanted to become a public figure to begin with and connect you to the people you're supposed to represent. So, when I moved to America, I wasn't in DC and I realized, wow, America is full of entrepreneurs who started their own business and there was this huge entrepreneurial spirit, but many of them were very poor at branding themselves and showing off as businesses that I would like to work with as well. So I realized personal branding was missing, and that's what I decided to do. And now I am the personal brand consultant of Boss Diplomat.
That is awesome. And this is really exciting. And it's very hard to find someone like you. I love working with you. So, can you let us know a little bit about branding? Why is it important? Why can't I just do a business without being branded? I have my name.
And that is so important, right? That is so, so important. Having your name in your business. But if you are invisible, if you're a ghost, if you're not showing up in your business, you're like 99% of other businesses who are doing exactly the same thing. So, what if you became that 1% instead who really shows up in your business, who talks about this specific niche in your industry constantly? Over and over again. This is how people are going to not only know you, but you're going to become a specialist in your industry. And because we're now pulling in the personal brand element, we're not just talking about what does the business look like. What I'm doing is showing up and saying, hey, what does the business owner look like? How are you showing up in your business? And then how do we make sure that your business brand evolves with you? It moves with you. There's so many things and goals and aspirations that you have. Your brand needs to move and evolve with you. So that's what I specialize in. It's more than just the business, it's actually the business owner behind the business.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I remember when we started working together, um, you had me on that call trying to ask me questions. You got me on tears. So, how do you get us so easy in tears?
Look, all I'm doing is learning more about you. Without you, there is no business. Without you, nothing is going to happen. So my job is to really learn what is the reason why you started this business. Because a lot of your clients, anyone who works with you, that's going to be the first natural question that they have about you, but they just don't know how to ask it, or they feel as though it's not relevant for them to ask. So if you're opening that door by 1% to show them how you started your business, why this really matters to you. And this is really personal to you. You chose this specific business for a reason. And my job is to say, hey, why not just share that information? So Noura, when we were I was learning about you and why you started Noura's book. Wow, there was an incredible history behind that, right? And your journey to America is just as unique as my journey coming to America. And then we learned about your nonprofit background, and all of a sudden it made sense why you were working in the nonprofit area, but working also in taxation, tax planning, all of that finance stuff. It made sense because it was part of your backstory. So now when you're sharing your backstory in Noura's books and all of the amazing things that you do with your clients, there's a fire now, there's a passion behind it. Your personality is shining through it. And none of that would have been possible without you sharing that story with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being able to actually getting all these out. And now I love my colors. I didn't love them before. It was just standards, looks like anyone else. And I was telling them in the beginning of the show about my logo. How was it? And then when you said, like, why did you have this logo? And then we changed the logo. That was really, once you asked me that question, I was like, yeah, I mean, I hated the logo that I had before. And then even though I did not think about it before. So it's really important to have someone outside of you, like looking, especially if that person is the expert. Now you might think you know how to do branding. That's what I thought before. I thought like, okay, I'm good with branding. I love to look good, like my website to look good, my social media to look good. I want to have a logo. I thought I'm doing everything perfect. But then when I met you and then like you told me about what you're doing and we started working together, I'm like, oh, wow. It's just a different world when you're working with a professional who knows about this, and especially when that's someone like or not you. Like it's even if you are the professional doing the same thing for yourself, it's always good and better to have someone from outside looking. And if that was you, like you were working with the diplomats before, this is how it came actually, the name, the post diplomat.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, I need to honor that diplomat part of my history. It's a big part of my history. I trained as a diplomat for the United Kingdom, but then a lot of ethical reasons um, basically stopped me from becoming a diplomat. I decided this was not the right career path for me. However, if I was a diplomat consultant, if I was a consultant for diplomats and that audience, then I can work with as many different countries and officials as possible. And boom, that's exactly what I did. But and my old company was actually called Grassroot Diplomat. And Grassroot Diplomat is an evolution of my company now, which is Boss Diplomat. And the reason why I named it Boss Diplomat, again, there's a lot of intentionality behind everything that I choose in my brand, because everything I do for myself, I replicate it with my clients. I will ask all of the hard questions, all of the whys. My job is to read between the lines of everything that you share with me and then pull that information out of your brain without you knowing, of course, and then package it up and then show you exactly what your brand is worth. And this is how we turn you into a premium brand. All of the things that are unsaid, all of the things that are in your head, it is really hard to know what information is important to your audience. But like you said, when it's coming from an outside perspective, it's easier for me to figure out what is the most important elements about you as a personal brand to your business. And having that outside perspective helps because I don't know you the way you know yourself. Not everyone needs to know everything about you. It's not a reality TV show. And that's why having an angle and what is important and how your entire personal brand is attached to a higher purpose, that's what I focus on. And this is where you are at right now, Nora.
Yes. Yes, no, this is really great. Like, a lot of people, they are hesitant to show themselves. They don't want to show them their pictures. They don't want to be on video. So a lot of my friends, like who wants to actually went to college with me and they wanted to start their own business, they tell me, okay, I want to start my business, but I don't want to have my picture. And there's this resistance, especially in the beginning, but then they realize that's not going to work. What would you tell people like, how they want to separate between their business and themselves. Like,
Yeah.
what do you tell these people?
Oh, well, the first thing I would say is let's check out your competitors and let's see if your competitors are doing exactly the same thing that you're doing. Looking at what your competitors doing gives you so much information. So in your world, Nora, in taxation, there's, you'll see how do people show up in that profession. And then are you doing the same thing? Are you making the same mistakes as them? Are they just as invisible as you? Because if you're suddenly visible, if you're suddenly saying, hey, clients, I am looking directly at you, I see you, you see me, you're not invisible, you're not a ghost, all of a sudden, you're building that trust even before your client has met you. So look at what your competitors are doing. Or what you can also do is, I do this for free. I do a free 30-minute brand session. We can check you out. I can see what you're doing wrong, and I can also see what you're doing right. Not everything you're doing is going to be wrong. There's going to be things that you're doing absolutely amazing. Let's make that better. Let's make that so good that you can't be ignored. And that's actually my tagline for Boss Diplomat.
That's awesome. And we're going to continue the conversation after the break. This is Echoes of Impact with Noura. We'll be right back. Stay with us until we come back with Talyn again. Welcome back. This is your host, Noura Almasri, and this is Echoes of Impact. We're back to our friend Talyn and continue the conversation about branding. And here, I wanted to actually hear from you more about the branding blueprint, because this is actually what we worked on for my business. And for me, I could not comprehend what is that. You told me the branding blueprint. I'm like, okay, how is that going to benefit me? I did not understanding. It turns out this is a magic. So, but I did not know, and I'm sure a lot of people did not never heard about the branding blueprints.
Yeah, so the brand blueprint, it is your foundation for your business. Just like you have a business plan, you have your financials, you have your marketing plan, you have your projections. Well, it does not have your brand at all anywhere in your business plan. So your brand blueprint is the foundation for how you show up in your business, how you talk about yourself, how you talk about your business, how you talk about your services, and more importantly, who exactly is your target audience for your business. And I just want to really stress, you cannot help everyone. And the minute you say, well, my business, I help everyone, I try to help as many people as possible, you actually help no one, because how are you supposed to help everyone? How are you supposed to talk to each individual step by step, one by one? It is impossible, and it's going to take so much time, energy, and effort for you to do that. So what we do with the brand blueprint is, imagine a dartboard. Your brand blueprint is going to hit that red bullseye right in the middle. You're only talking to a very small audience, but that audience is going to be those individuals who are going to pay you exactly what you say you want. They're not going to negotiate your time. They're going to respect your process, and they're going to respect your entire service package. They are the clients who are ready to work with you even before you've met them. Everyone else on that dartboard, of course, they're still going to work with you, but you're just doing this. You're ignoring them, but you know that they're listening, and that's good, because now you have a secondary target audience, but we're not focusing on them. The brand blueprint gives you a tunnel vision and ensures that your messaging is clear, concise, and you're repeating the same things over and over again. So we're really refining what your brand messaging is in your business using your voice and your personality.
Mm-hmm. And I can say about that, when we had the brand blueprints, and you showed us how to do actually the website based on the brand blueprints, I started getting people actually telling me, oh, okay, we want to work with you, but we don't think we can afford you now. Before they even ask about prices or anything, they just shied away about on working with me. So that's good for me and for them, because now I'm not wasting their time. They're not wasting my time. At the same time, I have a lot of free resources that available for them in order to bring themselves up to be able to actually provide services. They can actually utilize the free resources until they are able to actually commit to my services. So this really does work. And speaking about on the website, do you think the business owners they should have a website, or do you think social media would be enough for them?
Okay, that is a hot topic, and I got asked this quite a lot. And in fact, I had a client ask me that same question. They don't have a website, and I said, "Look, this is the 21st century. Make sure you do have a website because your website is your HQ. It is your digital headquarters. It's like akin to you being homeless. If you don't have a business website, you're basically living hotel to hotel, and that's not what you want. You need a base, and then your social media or any other marketing is where you show up to show off that 1% of your expertise. This is how you start to build a following. This is how you show off exactly who you are, what you do, and why you are the perfect person to fix this very specific problem. Your website can't do that. Your website is like the last place they need to go to book, call you, to engage with your content, to find you. But there needs to be a house. Get a house, and then everything else will open up to you.
That's awesome. I love that concept because in the last episode we were talking about purchasing a house. So purchase your business house and get their website. And now like you can get an affordable way to get a website. You don't have to like pay tons of money like before. Uh, you definitely can do it. So yeah, I mean,
Well, a website is cheaper than an actual house. So
yeah.
there you go. And it's tax deductible, right?
Right. It's a business expense. So you can go
Exactly.
ahead and do it.
Exactly.
And I remember actually when I first started my business, I got into coaching program and there was like, we're supposed to message people, tell them about what we do. And these people we already know. And I messaged someone and he asked me about my website. And I didn't have website at that time. It was actually being done. Like someone was working on it, but I did not have it. So I was like, okay, this is really important because some people are not going to take you seriously if you
Mhm.
don't have a website. And one thing also I always tell people about, like, please get an email that was your domain name, not a
Yeah.
Gmail, not AOL. Like, no one's going to take you seriously if you don't have that. So this is really important. And um, I want to ask you one thing. I'm sure the audience I'm going to ask now, if I cannot afford all of that at the moment, if I cannot do the branding blueprint, the website, the logo, everything that you spoke about, where should I start to build my way up?
Yeah, so you're talking about free content at the beginning. I have so much free content showing solopreneurs how to start building their personal brand in their business. So the first thing I would recommend is please follow me on Instagram. It's instagram.com/boss diplomat. There is a lot of reels and videos, me talking about colors, logos, why you shouldn't go cheap on certain things, how to build a proper website in your business because that is your house. Ensuring that you are working with the right freelancers, because again, if you go cheap, and I actually recently got burnt by this, I went cheap on working with a freelancer to grow my YouTube, and unfortunately they filled it with a lot of fake subscribers. So now painstakingly I have to start my YouTube from scratch. I have to start at zero before I had over 1,000 subscribers. But having said that, I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/boss diplomat. Again, it's got a lot of really deep information about how to grow your brand in your business. And I also provide free brand analysis as well. So what that means is I will audit. I hate that word, but I will audit your brand. I will look at your website. I will look at your Instagram, and I will post that on my YouTube channel without you having to pay for anything. So you're getting a high level assessment of what's working for you, what's missing on your website, what sort of social media strategy you need, what's working for you, what's not. So there is a lot of free content out there. You don't have to start with the brand blueprint straight away. In fact, Nora, since you and I have started to work, my process has changed a lot. For example, in the brand blueprint, tell me if you remember this or not, because this was new and I didn't work on this with you. But as part of the brand blueprint process, I now talk about your job title. I give you an entire description of what your job title is in your business, because if you're calling yourself owner, founder, CEO, that's a red flag, because as a solopreneur, you should really have a very descriptive job description. So that's the first thing that new thing that I'm offering. Also, I look at your pricing strategy and your services in a lot of detail. It's because if I'm going to turn you into a premium brand, I want to make sure that the customer journey that you're providing to your clients is also premium. So these are all of the things that I look behind the scenes as well.
That's awesome. That's great. And guys, you want to follow Talyn because she is fun, actually. Look at her website, follow her on Instagram, and subscribe to her YouTube channel. Like, she is fun. Like, she makes everything funner, and see how colorful. Like, she like I love your taste on things. I love how you do things. It's amazing. So thank you so much. Where can people find you? Like, if you want to say, like, the best way to connect with you, to work with you.
Yes, so I'm super active on Instagram. So the best thing to do is direct message me on Instagram, is at Boss Diplomat. Guys, go to my website, come to my house and invite yourself through my door. My calendar is live on my website, so you can have a free 30-minute brand session with me. And this is a good opportunity for you to also test out not only my expertise, but let me see if I can get into your head like I did with Nora. So that's a nice test for me as well. So there's lots of different ways you can reach out.
Awesome. Thank you. You want to make sure, like, go ahead and connect with Talyn. I'm sure you're going to get a ton of value. You're going to see your business in a different way. You're going to love your business more once you start branding yourself in your business. She's going to help you do that perfectly with a very short time. You don't need to actually spend a lot of time working with Talyn. Like, she's amazing. She's the best, in my opinion, on what she does. And come on, guys, she used to work with diplomats. And now, like, she can work with us business owners and find the best of us and make it visible for everyone. So go ahead and connect with her. Make sure you work on your business, take it seriously, build your house. And with that, I want you to make sure to email me for if you would like to be on the show. If you have any idea you want us to cover on the show, email me at hello@echoesofimpact.net. That was your host, Noura Almasri. Until next time, keep making an impact.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.